Well, welcome to week 2 of sports writing on the internet. By now, of course, you've picked out the sport or the event you want to be covering, all right? And what you're going to do in the next 3 weeks, I think this is clear by now, you're going to cover 3 events of the same sport. You can do them all together if you want to attend a tourney or a playoff of some kind, playoff situation. You can go ahead and do that, but I'll give you 3 weeks over which I expect you to get this task done, which is basically covering and writing up 3 sports stories. Now, I'll be checking to make sure that you write them up immediately, because this is the real-world experience, all right? You go to a game, you go back to the office, you write it up, you turn it in. Bingo, bingo, bingo. So basically, we're talking about sports news stories here. These are not feature stories, all right? These are not creative writing. These are stories that get quick and to the point. They compete for space in a newspaper or on the radio, whatever, so you can't get real long-winded. That's why I've set up a word length. Please look at the syllabus. Check your word length, okay? It's not a lot of words, all right? So they need to be succinct. They need to be immediate. They need to be accurate, of course, all right? The first paragraph of this story, it's not a traditional introduction. It tells the whole story, okay? The first paragraph really says everything there is to know. You could cut your editor could cut all the rest of the paragraphs and the reader would still know what happened, okay? So basically the first paragraph contains all the pertinent information. It's an actual summary of the event. It needs to have hard-hitting, definitive words, verbs, and adjectives in it. Make sure every single solitary word counts, all right? These stories are quick, down and dirty, and to the point. That's what editors are looking for. No BSing around. Get the job done. You know, you can try to be creative by word choice. You can try to be creative by your first sentence, but it still has to say everything there is to be said, right? Basically, it's who, where, when, and what you actually say. Who played, when they played, where they played, and who won, all right? And what the score was. Don't wait till the middle of the story to tell what the score was. I hate to look at sports stories. They don't tell you what the score is until the end of the story. They never get around to it. No, you want to know. The score is important, right? It's not just who won, but, you know, how lopsided or unlopsided or how close was it. That adds to the excitement of it. And then the next several paragraphs, there aren't very many paragraphs yet, they simply hit the highlights, you know, who scored the most points, who, you know, had the biggest dunk or whatever, right, or who had the most layups, how close was the game at the end, what were the final few seconds like. Then that's it. You get in quick, you get out quick. There's not a lot to it. But it's a real trick. You can't just, you know, you sit there, you know, you watch a game for a whole hour and you're saying, oh my God, you know, how do I condense this into 5 paragraphs, right? Well, it's not easy. It's hard, right? That's the point. It takes a lot of experience to get it really good. You want it to still flow well. You want it to sound good. You want it to have good language, good words, strong. By good, I mean strong, okay? Action verbs, action words, things that say stuff, all right? Don't beat around the bush. Get right at it, but use strong language. Get her done, all right? Like as I said earlier, I want to keep this short, all right? You can do it all at once if you want. You can cover 3 games over 3 nights or 2 nights or 1 day or whatever, but you got to write up the stories immediately. That's the important part of it, is this immediacy thing, all right? And I'll be checking to make sure that the dates coincide, okay? And last but not least, these 3 stories that you're doing, these 3 weeks, next 3 weeks, count for a full third of your class grade. So, okay, if you have questions, you know how to get a hold of me.